Good morning, aloha. Welcome to Kahu's Korner. Thank you for joining me this morning. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope you guys had a blessed weekend and that you guys ready for the work week. We had a lot of rain Saturday. It slowed up Sunday. Looked like Hurricane Darby is past us, and we can have a normal work week. But much needed rain, a little wind, and I hope everybody's property, I hope all you guys' stuff is doing good and family is doing well. Again, thank you for joining me this morning. I hope you guys was in service or even caught us online. If you still not in person, please, I encourage you to come back. Yesterday we had good cow for lunch after service. Then we all got a chance together to put up our tent for VBS in preparation for that. So it was a time of fellowship, time for the guys to get together and put this tent together and build new relationships. That's what it's all about. I had a chance to meet a couple new people yesterday and, multitasking, talking about each other, building a tent. And that's what God wants, to just build new relationships, keep Him in the center, and have fun. So I hope if you weren't there, I hope you guys had a good Sunday. And if you did catch service online, yesterday my devotional, I talked a little bit about people that we come across, and we have both of them in us too. Pessimist, which says, the glass is half empty, and the optimist, who says that the glass is half full. Depending what situation we go through, when we look in the mirror in the morning, who shows up? Is it the pessimist or the optimist? We all go through it. Whatever situation we may have, however difficulties we may have trying to get through it. But if we don't put God in the center of whatever it is, it becomes harder for us. So God already knows what's going to happen, what's going on. He just wants us to communicate with Him through prayer. And yesterday, the story I used from the Old Testament, from the book of Numbers, chapter 13 and 14, was about the spies. The Israelites were coming up on the promised land, and God told Moses, hey, choose one leader from each tribe, send him into the promised land, go spy it out, see what the land is all about. Moses gave them a bunch of questions. Is the land fat or lean? Are there people there? Are they strong? Are they weak? A list that we can take and use for us, ourselves, in situations that we come across and we just can't. It's a stumbling block for us because we don't know how to deal with it. And if we answer those few questions, we got to investigate it. And again, keep God in the center. Pray about it. Find wise counsel. And then decide. Saying yes all the time doesn't mean you're optimist that, hey, yeah, we're going to do it. Sometimes saying no can be the wise answer. Maybe it's not time. God said, maybe this is not the time for you to do what you're about to do, or whatever it is. But taking the time to be silent, to spend time with Him. And again, surround yourselves with people you trust, people who can give you wise counsel. Talk about it and list down all the pros and cons. And then you got to decide, you got to move forward. And that's exactly what happened with these spies. Moses sent them into the promised land. 40 days, after 40 days, they came back. And there was a division in them, the spies. And it wasn't an even split down the middle. It was a huge swing to one way. Out of the 13 spies, 11 of them said that we can go to the promised land, although it's rich with milk and honey. The people are just too big. The cities are fortified. We just can't get in there. We just can't defeat these people. They're huge. They're big. They're all over the place. But God already had confirmed it at the beginning of chapter 13. He already gave them to the land. All they had to do was go do their legwork, go investigate, bring back the report, and then that way the nation of Israel could be prepared for it. But the one most important step that they missed was trusting God, having faith in Him. He already gave it to them. But out of the 13, only 2 came back and said the same thing. The land is rich with milk and honey. Yeah, the guys are big, but you know what? If we just honor God, we just focus on Him. He said it, that He was going to remove the power from these people and that we was going to take the land. And that was their report. But the whole nation of Israel, really, because 11 of them said we can't, when Joshua and Caleb said we can, what the congregation wanted to stone them, they wanted to kill them. They didn't want to hear what Joshua and Caleb say. So you can kind of see the pessimist side of it, the optimist side of it. But the optimist side, the 2, Joshua and Caleb, they put their faith in God, and they was ready to go. And there was consequence to both sides. Because when we read later, when it was time to actually go into the promised land, everybody over 20 didn't go in. The people that was the pessimists, they didn't have a chance to go into the promised land. Everybody under 20 was led into the promised land by Joshua and Caleb because they put their trust in God, and that's exactly what happened. The first stumbling block they came across was Jericho. What happened there? When Joshua and Caleb stepped out and trusted God, God stepped in and did exactly what He said He was going to do. But this morning I wanted to just take a passage, a short verse out of Proverbs chapter 18, verse 21. And it talks about the mouth. Again, we all deal with it. And what we say has consequence. And it says in verse 21, Proverbs chapter 18 verse 21 says, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit." So what side are you? You're going to talk death, or you're going to talk life? And that was just the same deal with these spies when they came back to Moses. The pessimist side of it, the 11 said, "Oh no, we can't do it. We don't want to go in there. It's much too big. We just can't do it." And there was consequence to that. To the generation that sided with them, they didn't go in. And Joshua and Caleb, they came back. They talked life. They said there is a place for us. If God made this place for us, whatever there is in there, we can take it. He said He's going to help us. So the younger generation went in. It's like today. Every day we go out and do something, we come across people, we meet people, we have conversations on anything. The way we speak, the way we hold ourselves. Sometimes it might be intentional or unintentional. What we say has consequence on both parties. And Jesus wants us to speak life. He doesn't want us to speak death into whoever it is or whatever you're talking about. He wants us to build up, not tear down. And it's exactly what happened here. And the nation of Israel was affected by what the spies said. But they lost the whole vision of it. They didn't put their trust in God. And they was faithless. Although when Joshua and Caleb came back, they was ready to roll. No one sided with them. And there is consequence. So as we carry ourselves, again, the tongue, our lips, our mouth. It's all going to bring out what we think, how we feel. And sometimes saying nothing is the best thing to say. But always be ready to build up. And you can have disagreements, but you know, there's a proper way of disagreeing with something, and as you come to an agreement to disagree, both parties should be able to move on doing things together. You can't just disagree on something and then walk your separate ways and just not have settle the issue. So anyway, that's kind of my take this morning. I hope as you guys go through your guys' week, you guys have a safe week. Look for opportunities to share the gospel, to build up, to meet people. And if there's any unresolved issues that you have going on, seek that person out, come together with the parties, and just talk story. You'd be surprised that if you keep God in the center, pray about it, when you come together and just say, hey, this is the disagreement. We had time to think about it and just come together, heal, and you can just imagine the weight that can come off of your shoulders, and then everybody can move forward. Both parties did. One party went into the promised land, the other party didn't. So anyway, have a safe week. Be blessed. Aloha.